Hi, welcome to the EEVblog, an electronics engineering video blog of interest to anyone involved in electronics design. I'm your host, Dave Jones. Okay, I can't see much of this chat window here. It's really crap. Ustream have been playing around with their stuff, I think, because all their time sync scheduling stuff is completely broken. Or it was just the other day, and their chat window, I can't expand it at all. It's really hopeless. So, how many people we got? We got 41 viewers. Awesome. Who's on here? See, if I turn on my list, where I can see who's on the list, then I can't see any of the chat window. It's hopeless. Someone's calling themselves Fluke 87. Nice. Alright. 83 viewers. Cool. Alright, we shouldn't get lag. It should be pretty good. It's pretty good on my server monitor here, so it seems to be working really nicely. No lag? Excellent. Yeah, that's you, Fluke 87. Alright, well thanks for showing up. Is the Jerry Ellsworth show on at the moment? Does anyone know if I've been copied on the Jerry Ellsworth channel again? Like I was last time? She's welding. Excellent. What is she welding? Like one of her cars or something? One of her derby cars? A car frame, yeah, okay, I figured as much. It was either that or a pinball machine, so there you go. Yeah, if you're on wireless, you're probably getting really crap lag. I've got the quality, video quality turned up to 90%, which should be pretty good. I'll turn it right down and shock everyone. There you go, isn't that terrible? That's awful. I was going to show this really cool webcam effect I have, but my driver's not working this morning. It worked the other day. We're back up. And where it would, in real time, actually detect my head and it would stretch my mouth. It was really cool. You can do these effects or I can actually make my eyebrows go up even further than they already do. And it did that in real time. It's part of the Dell webcam software, which is really quite cool. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know why. I think I accidentally disabled the Dell webcam software, and I'm using the Logitech software Direct now, and it doesn't have those features, so I don't know. Go figure. Anyway, hopefully I'm recording on the main camera here. Hello, main camera, for the upload later, and the live and the chat inside as well. I'm using my second computer to video capture the chat window, which I then overlay on the uploaded version. I've got my water bottle again. There you go. So I can't ruin my new notebook, because this is my new Dell notebook. I've got a new Dell notebook here, and yeah, it's certainly don't want to trash it. Is the video better than last time? Because I'm hoping that the new faster machine will actually give me a better stream and stuff. What OS? Windows 7. Sorry, I'm not a Linux penguin geek. I'm a Windows guy. Yeah, all this Ustream live, streaming video. The technology just hasn't caught up yet. It really is crap. I was watching a TV show in Sydney here the other week. It was one of these audience Q&A type shows, and they had somebody streaming in live from their webcam, and they had it big up full screen for the audience to see, and it was just shit. Really? I don't know why anyone bothers. But yeah, anyway, you do actually get to see me live. I am live. Ask me to dance and I'll dance. No, I won't. So yeah, if you want to ask questions, put a Q and colon before your question. Then it pops up with a little Q mark on the chat window. So that's the best way. Otherwise, your questions just get lost in the crap. All the chat on there. So, do you have a Prime Minister yet? No, we do not have a... Well, we do have a Prime Minister, but not a new one. Because, no, if you're not aware, Australia has just had its federal election. It was actually a week ago. And they're still counting the votes. They're counting every last vote. It's a what's called a hung parliament here in Australia, which I guess you could do any sort of rude, crude joke you want about that, a hung parliament. But yeah, we don't know who our new Prime Minister is. Our Governor General, who's the Queen's representative here in Australia, may end up appointing a Prime Minister, or we may go back to the polls. We just don't know. So, because a lot of... It's different to the US system. Here in Australia, we don't vote for a person to be the Prime Minister. We vote for a particular party. So if you vote, you either vote for one party or the other. It's mainly a two-party system. You can vote for the Greens or the independent parties, but a few of the independents got in this time, and one Green candidate, and they're holding the balance of power. So to form a government, the other two parties are split, equal number of votes, and they need the support of the independents to form a new government here in Australia. But yeah, nobody knows. It's still up in the air. So, well, yeah, who cares? Doesn't matter who you get, you end up with a politician. So, you know. But at least one of our politicians is now, one of our current Prime Minister is actually not only is she female, but she's unmarried, childless, and an atheist, and a redhead. Awesome! So, yeah, I hope the other dude doesn't get in. So that's my choice anyway, the lesser of two evils, so to speak. All right, oi, questions. Anything come of the dating doctor's book naming? No. I was trying to bait him on that. If you don't know, the dating doctor, a guy in the UK, has written a book exactly the same name as mine that I wrote 10 years ago, The Art of Internet Dating. And he called it exactly the same thing. And he's just registered the domain name theartofinternetdating.com, whereas I've got artofinternetdating.com. And this idiot claims that he has never heard of my book. He didn't even know about it. What absolute bullshit. If you type in internet dating book into Google, I'm #1. I have been for 10 years. And there is no way that you're going to come up with the name The Art of Internet Dating and not type that into Google and find it, or even internet dating book. It's just bullshit. Anyway, mine's the most popular one out there. There's no way he has not heard of it. He's full of shit. And yeah, it's just, to rip off someone's name, it's just stupid, because he's never going to beat me on Google ranking. He's just crazy. It's just a stupid choice. Anyway, what a dickhead. Anyway, what is my forecast for LED technology in taking over old-fashioned bulbs? Well, it's pretty darn close. It's already here. I've got LED lighting out on my back deck. The only thing stopping me from replacing, I'm going to do LED lighting in the lab here. I've still got a whole bunch of star LEDs here, which I was going to use to light up my lab. These are Cree XPG ones, just like I used out in the back deck. But I think even these are old hat now. This is like 120 lumens per watt or something, and they're old hat. So up to the main camera. There we go. And yeah, so they're already taking over. Geez, the questions are scrolling way off the screen. I can only see currently 3 of them. What is that board in the intro with the FPGA and the gigabit Ethernet? That's a board I did for work. It's a Vertex 5 FPGA with a gigabit power over Ethernet. It's got, you know, the 48 volt power over Ethernet thing, and it's got, yeah, high speed interfaces and stuff. So that's what it is. Have I read about the XMOS chips? No, I haven't. Somebody asked that in a trial video the other day. No, I haven't. I don't think I've seen the XMOS chips. can you screw LEDs into regular fixtures? Yeah, you can buy LED complete bulb replacements. You just screw them in, but they cost a fortune, and don't get the cheap Chinese crap ones because they're... What is the mysterious new project? No, you'll hear about it when it comes out. Still working on it slowly. It's one of those things, you know. I'm working on a few projects at the moment. I want to do a new calculator watch. I'm back on that again. I'm back on the calculator watch, and I don't know. I'm on again, off again. I've got a couple of. I've got a, like, you know, you've seen my old calculator watch, and there it is, and yeah, it's just big, and I've got a couple of LCDs I want to put into the new one. This is a little zoom, focus, there we go. It's a little dip. It's just a single-sided dip one. It's got a built-in LED backlight. That's a 128 by 32 dot matrix. And this is a 128 by 64 dot matrix. It's really quite nice. It's got the, but it's got a very fine pitch membrane connector on there like that. And they're a real pain in the ass. I don't like those because you've got to put another connector on your board. But it's got the built-in caps, and the wiring's built in. You can get a version of this with one of those hot bar. The actual connector goes right across there like that, and they just don't include this membrane bit like that, and you can buy it with that one that goes across there, so that might be a better option if I go with 128 by 64 graphics. And I looked into I looked into doing touch sensitive buttons for a long time there. I was like, this is my little credit card scientific calculator. This is my, there it is there, and I was going to do touch sensitive buttons like I did on this one, on the scientific calculator watch, but it's they're just too small a pitch, and then the buttons interfere and stuff like that. So I don't know, I was onto that idea for 6 months, and then I went cold on it, and I've got to do I've done a couple of 3D models for the case for the watch, and if you want to see the size difference in this is the old calc watch, and this is the new 128 by 32 screen. There it is, and this is the 128 by 64. So as you can see, I've got to fit buttons around that, and you know, it's going to be a reasonable size watch. Actually, it's not going to be much bigger than this, which is, you know, it's like you can fit the screen there, and it's not much wider, and if you put buttons on the bottom, it's, you know, it's not that much bigger really. So yeah, I don't know, I'm back onto the calculator. You know, I go hot and cold on that every couple of weeks, and it's just a matter of actually producing something. Getting something out there is better than nothing, because this I just did in next to no time. I just did it. I didn't think about it too much, agonize over it. I just went out and did it, and yeah, that's how I produce something. So but no, it should be reasonable size. So yeah, I'm actually back to using the same buttons as I did on this one. I'll just jam them closer together, yeah, I think I can fit like 18 buttons or something, or no, even 21 buttons on there or something. I can jam them on, and it'll be smaller, much smaller and thinner than this one. It'll have USB, and it will have probably a micro SD card and stuff. So, oh yeah. What are those? What was the name of the credit card? It's the MicroCalc. There it is, the MicroCalc, just like my micro watch and my microcurrent. This is the MicroCalc. I haven't finished it. I've never finished it. It's got a PIC. It's got a micro SD card on it here. You know, and it was going to be credit card thin. It just needs the back panel on it, and that's a bodgy programming interface. You know, so that's the MicroCalc. And the project I started with great enthusiasm, and then just the enthusiasm just died, and there's the MicroCalc. main screen. Yeah, the enthusiasm dies pretty quickly sometimes. I swap from one project and then back and forth, back and forth. It's crazy. Do I use microcontrollers that have interfaces built in or external chips? Always built in. That's the great thing about microcontrollers these days. They've got everything built in. 15, 20 years ago, the microcontrollers didn't have, you know, if you're lucky, it might have had a UART and that was it. But, geez, they've got everything nowadays. So, no, yeah. I use the ones that have built in everything. Any tips on selecting high-resolution ADCs, especially asserting the real usable resolution? Oh, God. Oh, how long's a piece of string? That's a tough question. No general guidelines. It's always application specific. I've used some of the bleeding edge 24-bit stuff for seismic acquisition, and you do get pretty darn close to all 24 usable bits. They're amazing devices, but they're very low sample rate. They're only 2 kilohertz bandwidth. So yeah, you actually can't even do audio. Whereas if you get the 20 kilohertz audio 24-bit delta sigma converters, they're not 24 usable bits. So yeah, it's yeah. You want 32 bits. You can actually get a 32-bit ADC. It's a wank. It's a marketing wank thing. I saw it sometime. It's just garbage. Yeah. Hey, I filmed a blog yesterday. I haven't done it, but this is the whiteboard left over from it. Check it out. Look at that. There we go. That's the whiteboard from a blog I filmed yesterday. It's on DC to DC converters, how to design a working example of designing a DC to DC converter. So it looks complex, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't edited the blog yet. I don't know. How are the bits not usable? Somebody asked on ADCs. It's because of the noise floor. They're just not, you know, you can get 24-bit resolution, but you can't get 24-bit true dynamic range. So, yeah, that's how the bits aren't usable. Have I tried the reverse geocache thing yet, where you start with the box and it won't open until you're at the correct location? No, I haven't done one of those, but I've done lots of puzzle ones. If you want to see a presentation of me giving a 1-hour tour, I think I posted it on the site. A 1-hour geocaching talk I gave about some of the old caches I did back in the old days. If you're interested in geocaching, then go check out my 1-hour boring presentation of how important are Bike Trials Dave says, how important are analog planes in PCB design? I know you have touched on them before and appear to be fairly complex to get right. They're not fairly complex. It depends on what you're doing. Generally, a lot of the time you can, if you've just got low power, not particularly fast digital stuff on there, you just have the one ground plane for the entire board, and you can mix your analog and digital. You don't need to separate the ground planes. That's fairly common. But if you know, it depends on your performance, the performance requirements you're after. You just got 8-bit ADCs or something. Yeah, one big ground plane is fine. But if you're trying to get 16-bit dynamic range and you've got high-speed digital on this side of the board and analog on this side, you literally split the ground planes. And a lot of chips, some ADCs, will actually be split right down the middle, and the pins on one side of the chip will all be analog and the pins on the other side will all be digital. So you can actually put that split directly under your chip. And so this ground plane on this side is all analog and this ground plane on this side is all digital. The idea is that all the high frequency digital information flows through the digital ground plane back to the power supply star reference point, and the analog stuff flows back and they don't interact. So you don't get any and they've all got separate bypassing. You can have localized linear voltage regulators on the analog side, and that's how you can split analog and digital designs. Any product reviews coming up soon? Hey, Chris Chris Gamble, my co-host, my esteemed co-host, everyone of the Amp Hour radio show. You'll kill me if I don't mention the Amp Hour, the theamphour.com radio show we've got going. Yes, product reviews. I've got the 3. I've said it before, but I'm pretty close to doing it. I've got the 3 LCR meters. I've got the Agilent. I've got the BK Precision, the new one. That looks really good. And I've got the X-Tech one as well, the real cheap $199 X-Tech one. And yes, I think that will probably, hopefully, be my next blog after this DC to DC converter one. So yeah, product reviews, and then I've still got the X-Tech digital microscope. I don't have it here, but the little digital, I don't like that. I'm not really looking forward to reviewing that one because it's not that great. I think it's poor value for money. So yeah, I've got, and I've got a Heiko FX888 soldering iron coming, apparently. I've arranged to get one of those. So a few people on the forum talked about they wanted to see the review of the FX888 soldering iron. So yeah, I think I'm getting one. I'm pretty sure that should be coming soon. So yep. Any word from the big boys? Who are the big boys? Agilent are pretty big. So yeah, I mean, I can get nah. The big boys, like who? I can guess who, but that's right. There's another thing. Fluke have finally got me the $16,000 thermal imaging camera, and they actually had it the other week, and they asked me if I wanted to review it, and I said, oh, you know, I haven't got time at the moment, but yeah, they've got a $16,000, their top of the line thermal imager, and I'm allowed to drop it. I'm allowed to drop it. No kidding. It's worth more than my car. It's unbelievable. The managing director of Fluke Australia said that I could drop the $16,000 thermal imager. It's the only one they've got, apparently, and don't drop it. Do it, do it, do it. Everyone's awesome. Yeah, well, it's rated for a 2 meter drop, and they said they'd have no problems with me dropping it from 2 meters. So I'm gonna cross my fingers and drop it from 2 meters, and shit, you know, $16,000, but hey, they told me to do it, so yep. No, I'm not going to drop it 30 meters from the dam. No, I don't think they're going to let me do that. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, they won't let me take it apart though. That's the thing. They said I can't well, if I do take it apart, I'm not allowed to show anyone. I'm not allowed to say anything about it, because apparently it's the dickhead US government again have put export restrictions on that. They deem it to be military technology, just like the PlayStation 2 was back in its day. You know, there was export restrictions on the PlayStation 2 because they thought, or PlayStation 3 or something, because they thought that you know, rogue governments would do nuclear simulations with it. It was that powerful, and they were seriously paranoid. The US government, dickheads, really. So yeah, apparently this thermal imager, they sell it to the military, and then and the military, the government have said, no, you can't, I'm not allowed to take it apart and show what's inside. Bloody hell. Bunch of dickheads, really. Yeah, Homeland Security, yeah, going back to the US soon. I'm not looking forward to trying to get through Homeland Security. X-ray it. Don't have access to an X-ray, unfortunately. Yeah, Maxim, somebody says, Bernie 8K says Maxim didn't want to give him a high-speed ADC because he might use it in a missile guidance system. Yes, I hate that. Sometimes to get parts, you've got to sign this this agreement saying that you will not use it in nuclear weapons, chemical weapons, guided missiles, and shit like that for a bloody chip that you can buy from DigiKey. Fuck. Unbelievable. Oh. Chris says, get it all out here. Well, yeah. Oh, dear. What if it cracks open after being dropped? Someone said. I don't know. No idea. What's this? Well, question from Wayfam. Bachelor's degree in electronics engineering compared to electronics engineering and electrical engineering. Oh, electronics engineering technology. It depends totally on the university. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, here in Australia, it's basically electrical engineering, really. I don't think there's any, there's maybe one or two little specialist electronics, threads in the course, but it depends on what you want. Electronics is obviously going to have more focus on board level stuff, whereas the standard course will have just, probably more theory based stuff. I don't know. It totally depends on the university and how they've set up their course. So, yeah. Any news on the documentary? Carl has said that he's pretty close to getting a trailer out. So he's been working on it furiously. The Australian Electronics doco thing, if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to be in it, hopefully. He doesn't cut me out too much. And my good mate Doug Ford's going to be in it too. So you'll see Doug in his shed again. Yeah, it's a trailer coming soon. So bit of pressure on Carl. Everyone's waiting for it, but I think he's pretty close. So stay tuned. Somebody asked, which is better, linear or switch mode supplies? Well, from a simplistic and noise and point of view, linear is heaps better than switch mode. You only use switch mode if you have to, really, for some reason. You have to step up voltage, or you've got to, you have to boost, or you have to get higher efficiency or something like that. So, yeah, you generally avoid switch modes if you can. Linear are just so much better. Dave, are you going to do a Kickstarter.com for the blog? No idea. What is Kickstarter? Oh, yeah, of course. I talked about that on the radio show. That's the capital funding. No, I don't know what I'd do with the money, so there you go. I don't know, maybe individual projects. No, I can fund my own stuff. I'm not destitute, so, with the question from unpronounceable name starting with a Z. DSO, is it better to have more samples or more bandwidth? For example, the 100 megahertz Rigol at 1 gig, or the Tektronix 500 meg samples per second. I would much rather have the sample rate. If it doesn't have 10 times the bandwidth in sample rate, it's generally not a massively usable. That Tektronix scope, for example, at 500 meg samples per second, only has a single shot bandwidth of, a usable one of about 50 megahertz. Rule of thumb, you divide it by 10. And so much for your 300 megahertz for single shot stuff, but obviously analog bandwidth is important if you want to measure, an eye diagram or something like that. It's fantastic, get the high bandwidth. The high bandwidth is very useful. You've got to have both, really. There's nothing like having a big 300-400 megahertz analog scope, really. That's, it's fantastic. Or if you can get the digital one that samples at 3 or 4 gig samples per second, even better, but, hideously expensive. What ESD precautions do I have for my home lab? Not much, just the basics. Yeah, you can see it, I think. There's a grounding, one of those grounding bond points down there. And that goes back to mains earth. And where is my wrist strap? No, that's buggered off somewhere. I've got that going to some instrument somewhere. And yeah, I do have a wrist strap. There it is. Anti-static wrist strap, which plugs into the bond-in point over there. So there you go. I can put my wrist strap on, and it goes to the mat as well. I've got a small anti-static mat on my bench. So there you go. They're my static precaution things. I don't use them much. It's it's overrated, really. Do I think it's possible to design a cheap switch mode power supply that outputs 0 to 40 volts 1 amp with low ripple, such as using a linear reg in series? Sure. yeah, you can do it. I mean, you know, it's not that hard. Oh, well, 0 to 40, if you want to have a linear, if you want it as low noise as a linear, that's a bit harder, but what is the most complex software I've done? Oh, God, I don't know. Some of the old stuff I did back in the 80s, probably some real databases that never saw the light of day. Sorry, I missed someone's question there. Oh. Somebody asked a question. About gyroscopes. Sorry, don't know much about bandwidth of gyroscopes. Anyone? No. No idea. What's the purpose of limiting the bandwidth on a gyroscope? Sorry, no idea. I could guess, but that's a bit silly. Do I have plans to review some benchtop 6.5 digit meters, like Haymeg, Rhodes, Schwartz, Agilent, Fluke? I don't know. Haven't got plans. I mean, I could probably get, you know, anything I want. If I ask for something, I can probably get it. But no plans. I don't like bench meters. Are like, you know, I don't particularly find them that interesting. So yeah, that's probably why I haven't done it. Have I ever destroyed a chip with static? Probably. Not proven. I've done it on purpose, just to prove that it can be done with an ESD gun and stuff like that, and prove that the protection works that I added to the circuit works. So I've done that, but you know, just hobby here, mucking around in 25. Oh God, what, 30 years I've been doing hobby electronics now, and I don't think I've ever really destroyed a chip with static. That's why I say it's pretty overrated. But you know, don't get me wrong, it's important if you're doing stuff for production. If you're sending something into space and you know, and you only get one shot at it, you don't want to damage the chip with static. So yeah, it's important. But for just hobby use, I think it's probably a bit overrated. Whoop, sorry. Scrolling through the questions here. Sorry, I got to go back. Does the wife give me a hard time while I work on my projects? How do you explain to you have to disappear for a few hours in the lab? I just disappear and I cop crap when I get back. Oh, you're not paying attention to me. You go to work all day, you come home and you don't talk to me. God, yeah, marriage. Wonderful. Oh joy. Okay, I've got to scroll back down on the questions. Whoop. How did Chris and I hook up for the radio show? I've explained that on the forum, I think. We hooked up, I saw a post. I actually had the idea for the radio show before I did the video blog. I thought, you know, because I had a mic back then. I had my podcasting mic, and I thought, oh, I'll do a radio show. And I thought, oh, who's going to listen to it? My voice sucks, and you know, it's hardly a radio voice. And then I got the idea for the. I didn't go ahead with that. Then I got the idea for the video blog, and of course that's taken off, and it's awesome, and taken off much more than a radio show would have, I'm sure. I wouldn't be nearly as popular if I just did the radio show. Not even close, I'm sure. And yeah, so I saw a post that Chris made on, where's the thing, Reddit site. He responded that he was interested in doing an electronics podcast. And I sent him an email, and we had already been discussing, because we're fellow blog, we both have blogs, and yeah, I said, hey, do you want to do a radio show? And he said, yeah, sounds good. And we sat in front of our mics, and we just did it, and Skyped, and the first one worked, and we just kept on doing it. So that's it. That's how it happened. I just asked Chris, because he seemed keen. The main part is finding somebody who's keen to co-host, you know, as keen as you are. So, Reddit, yes, that's it. Somebody posted it. Have I ever dealt with embedded Linux? No, I'm not a Linux guy. I don't like embedded. Well, it's not that I don't like it. I've never used it. So, yeah. the quality of Google Talk is that good. It's better than Skype, but we don't record Google Talk. I've said this on the forum as well. We don't actually, we actually record using our podcasting mics in front of us. We record from that, and we only use Google Talk to actually hear each other talk. So we've got headphones on, we've got a podcasting mic, and we record the stream directly from the mic at both ends. So we get two separate recordings. When the show's finished, I send my recorded version as a WAV file. I zip it up and I send it to Chris, and he merges the two together in the edit software, and bingo, that's how it's such high quality. Although there's lots of echo in my room. I don't do it here in the lab, I do it in my study, and there's lots of echo, and I've got to fix that. So yeah, it's a small room, just got walls, and that's it. Am I making more and more money on my ads, enough to stop working someday? Yes, I am. I am actually. I'm making quite a lot now from the ads and the other stuff, and I'm about to get into impression-based advertising. So instead of people paying me I only get paid if somebody actually clicks on an ad, and I'm not supposed to encourage people to click on my ads. So I don't encourage anyone to click on my ads. Yes, so up to now I've only been working on that, but hopefully some impression-based advertising is going to come through, and I thought it might take quite a few years to get to a full-time gig, but if the impression advertising comes off, it might be a lot sooner than I think. So yeah, yeah, you'd be surprised. And Amazon works as well. I'm getting money. I am allowed to encourage people to buy through Amazon. So if you buy anything at all through Amazon, either through Amazon or a third party via Amazon, do it via my link, and I get a 6% cut. Beauty. Do I plan to record an episode that explaining the transistor types, their positives and negatives? I don't know, no plans. Yeah, I might do it one day. I see some of, I've seen Afrotech Mobs, who's another YouTuber. I don't think he has a blog, I think he's just got a YouTube channel, and some of his videos, I'm amazed at those. He does like a MOSFET, how does a MOSFET work? And he gets like 100,000 hits. I don't know where he's getting his hits from. Unbelievable. God, if there's that amount of hits in just doing simple, tutorial, what is a transistor type, what is a resistor type thing, God, I think I'll get into that. Could I spell out his nickname? Yeah. Okay. Afrotech Mods, I think. Don't quote me on that spelling, but if you search him on YouTube, or you just yeah, somebody's put up the link, there you go, and he gets 100,000 hits for a man. I'd love to get it. My biggest one is 50,000 hits, and that was when I blew up the capacitors, but that was only because I made some other blog. But yeah, so I don't know where he's getting linked on, but I'm jealous. So there you go. What's my favorite general purpose everyday FET? Oh, well, I like the NFT 3055. That's a nice everyday 5-volt level FET. You can drive it straight from 3.3 volt logic and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that one. I just like it because of the number. It's the old, it's the equivalent to the old 2N3055 power transistor. That's famous for due to its longevity. It's been around 30 years or something. And yeah, I just like it because of the number. There's so many of them. Anyway. Yeah, it's the NTF. It also goes under other letters at the start, but it's the yeah, it's not the two. It's the 3055. So if you search for a FET with 3055 in it, then yeah, you'll find it. It's the NTF is one of them. There's also other letters in front, but yeah, there's quite a few versions. Quite a few manufacturers make it. Related to the static question earlier, how sensitive are MOSFETs. I've heard they are very sensitive to static, but have decelled a couple myself and they seem to be fine. Yeah, once again, a lot of them have built-in protection and they're pretty rugged. Yes, they are susceptible. They used to be bad back in the, you know, back in the 80s or whatever, 70s, 80s, stuff like that. But yeah, no, or most devices are pretty good these days. But as usual, yeah, you can destroy them if you really try, but just general mucking around in your lab, I think the odds are quite low, probably. Ooh. Any other questions? What's the time, by the way? 8:15. Man, have I been going for 45 minutes? Oh, yeah, someone had a question. I missed it. It scrolled off. Questions have flooded in. Have to look for some practice this year. Any tips for what I should be looking for? Big companies, small. I'm into microelectronics rather than anything else. Oh, you're looking for work experience as part of your course. I'm assuming Varel, if that's how you pronounce your nickname. Well, I don't know. I mean, which country are you in for starters? I mean, just, you know, you've got to think outside the norm. I mean, don't just go to all the main companies. What I've done around Sydney is I've driven to some of the industrial technology parks. I've driven around in my car, okay, and I take along a little voice recorder thing, and I drive around and I just record the names of all the companies that I see there. And you'd be surprised, there's dozens of companies, all these tech companies I haven't heard of. And I drive around and I get a list of like 200 companies. It's incredible, just by driving around some technology park or something where you know that there's a whole group of companies. Just drive around and, you know, and take down their names, and you go check out their websites, and you can find companies that way. Yeah. How is Windows 7 compared to Windows XP? Oh, Windows 7 seems alright. I kind of like it now, but I don't know the ins and outs of operating systems. I'm not geeky enough. So, yeah. I start as a graduate electronics engineer in the aerospace industry this week. Hey, congrats. Beauty. Any tips on giving a good impression? I've done blogs on how to make good impressions at interviews. Just be enthusiastic. Ask questions. Ask a shitload of questions, even if they're dumb. It doesn't matter. Don't just, you know, sit back and hide in a corner and let people come to you. You go to people. Actually go to them and ask what they're doing. You know, if you see someone working on something, if you're walking down the corridors of the building, you see someone working on something that looks cool, you know, knock on the door and say, "Hi, what are you working on? You know, I'm such and such, and I'm a new graduate here," and yeah, start talking to people. That's my advice, is just be curious and enthusiastic. Me, now I'm just old and crusty and I've got an attitude. You know, I don't have good people skills. I've been told, you know, I lack tact. If something's shit, I say it's shit, and yeah, people don't like it. Anyway, don't end up as one of me. Okay, well, I've got to scroll. This window doesn't automatically scroll with questions if I... It's really... Have I used an OS on a microcontroller project? I used a real-time OS once. That was on a Rabbit 2000. I can't remember the name of the OS. It came from Rabbit. It was one of their bundled real-time OSs. And yeah, I've used embedded real-time OSs there. But no, I'm generally not doing projects big enough to warrant an OS, you know, thing. It's just one of those things. You know, depends on what project you're working on. Oh, did I ever study on audio circuits? Do I have any thought on tube solid? I'm not really into audio. I'm not a big audio guy. My mate Doug is. He's a world-renowned audio guy, and I don't like audio at all, really. I don't get off on it. Any thoughts on tube solid state stuff? Tube stuff, I don't understand. What a wank. I do not understand anyone who uses tubes. I just don't get it, I think it's pointless. Build a home lab. Any suggestions where to start? Equipment, parts? Oh God, I could go on forever. I've already done a tour of my lab here, so I didn't do much. But equipment, parts, well, get as many power supplies as you can. Power supplies are important. Get a good analog scope off eBay. I've mentioned that before. Get 2 soldering irons so that you can work on surface mount stuff, so that you can actually get either side like that. Make sure they're temperature controlled, a proper, get a Heiko or something like that. They aren't expensive, but yeah, 2 soldering irons, tweezers to do surface mount stuff, lots of connecting leads, and oh, God knows, you've got to have at least a couple of multimeters. I show in my blog for this complex thing, I show that, I've still got the multimeters set up, how you need 4 multimeters, there's the 4 multimeters set up to measure my DC to DC converter. I shot that yesterday, and you need 4 multimeters to measure the input power and the output power, and I got graphs, the efficiency of the, sorry, I'm getting a bit off topic, but there's a graph of the efficiency for the thing, and I mean, there's lots of talk on the forum about setting up your own lab, so I'd suggest you go check that out. Hacked Gadgets. Hi, Hacked Gadgets. If you quit the day job, are you going to get into the kit business? Yes, because I'm working on a new design, which hopefully I'll bring out as a kit/built-up project, and if I do that, then I'll probably go back to selling, I don't know, micro watches again, micro currents again, and probably other projects which I'll come out with. Yes, so if I went full-time on the blog, then I'd probably have to supplement that income with the kit business, I think. So yeah, that's probably the couple of year, that might be the couple of year plan, as to, anyway, I'll get back into the kit business, and I just sold a couple of microcurrents. They just sold out overnight. I found a box of them. God, that was embarrassing. I had a box of parts up here, and sure enough, I had 10 already built up boards. Crazy. So, chicken. Chris called me chicken. Why am I chicken? Is it me? Oh no, chicken for pasta salad. Send some this way. Oh dear. What about guitar amps then? For tubes, I mean. I don't know. What about them? There's a guy at work, he does tube guitar amps. I don't care. Or are you talking to Chris? Because Chris is an audio guy. So Chris Gamble is your audio guy. He's in a band. And how do you keep component stores up and not get screwed by not having one part? You can't. Murphy's Law of labs is that you're never going to have the part you want in your lab. So it doesn't matter how much stuff you have. You're just going to need, it's okay if you want to build up a 555 timer circuit, sure, you're going to have a 555 in your junk box, you whack it on your breadboard, you're going to have a few resistors and caps, but most circuits these days I'm working on, they need a specific device for a specific reason, and I'm just not going to have it in stock, but I get it next day, same day, with free delivery from Farnell's, So I don't worry about keeping my component stocks up. I really don't, because it's just chasing your own tail. I don't bother. Most LEDs don't have any marked current ratings from FCPK. Should you stay under the 20 milliamp? Well, no, the data sheet for the lab will have data sheet for the lab, did I say? Data sheet for the LED will have the maximum current specified. And if you're just buying a grab bag of LEDs, or you're buying one hung low brand from China somewhere, and you don't have access to the data sheet, sure, you don't know how much to drive them at. Well, you know, too bad, I'm afraid, because you just don't know. You can't test it, really, because you can go above, because it's not like if it, you know, it's rated for 20 milliamps. If you go above 20 milliamps, it instantly dies. It doesn't. It gets brighter and brighter and brighter and it just shortens the life drastically. So there's no, if you've got an unmarked LED, there's no real way to test for its maximum rated current. You really need the data sheet, and the data sheet will tell you. So if you don't have access to the data sheet, you're screwed, really. But yeah, almost every LED I've ever seen will have at least 20 milliamps. Is quitting my job an option, or too much love for your job? Ooh. I love my job. No, I mean, you know, a job's a job. They pay you to turn up and do what, you know, do what they tell you. So, you know, I don't dislike my job, but hey, if I won lotto tomorrow, I can tell you, I would not. I would, you know, I've won $1 million in the lotto. We call it lotto here. I'm not sure what you call it over there, but yeah, I wouldn't turn up to work today if I won lotto. So my wife would. She's one of those weird people who says if she wins $1 million in lotto, she'd go back to work. But she works for the public service, and she actually loves her job. I don't understand it. So no, I don't understand how you could love your job that much that if you had another source of income, you would still do it. I don't understand that at all. So, and I'm sure everyone at my company is the same. If they were rich, they wouldn't work there except for the owner. That's or the directors or something like that. But so yeah, if I had another source of income, of course I would quit my job. That goes for any job. If I had a suitable source of, you know, I work to put food on the table. So, yeah. Do I know a good book about PCB design for beginners? Oh, unfortunately not. No, it's not. There's no real good design. I've got my tutorial out there, which is very old and a bit lame, but yeah. More than 100 viewers. Oh, I've got 100 viewers. Wow, thanks. How did you get up that little POW graphics there? That's really quite neat. We've got 100 people. Thanks for turning up, 100 people. Who have I got? Let me look at the list. I have to pop the list up here. Someone calling themselves Microwave Pizza. Oh, there's 76 guests. Okay, there's only 4. Oh, no. No, there's a list. Okay, I've got to scroll down. There's 47 viewers and 76 guests. There you go. Excellent. Thanks for turning up, everyone. Awesome. My time's almost up, but I'm going to keep going because, you know, I can. Hey, sorry, I've got to scroll this damn window. Ustreamer's just not that great, really. Any rule of thumb on how long you can overdrive a LED? No, not really. There's no rules of thumb. You've got to keep them cool. If they're the high-powered star LED ones, keeping them cool is the, you know, that's the thing you have to do to ensure long life. And actually, Cree keep respecking their LEDs. This XPG came out, and then I think they've respeced it. This is the Cree XPG one. And they respeced it twice. They upped it. I think it started out being 800 milliamps max, and then they respeced it to 1 amp, and then they upped it to 1.6, I think. So now you can overdrive them at 1.6 because they've done, I don't know, studies on them, or they've... I don't think they've actually changed the actual LED. If they've increased the thermal performance or the manufacturing process of the LED, I don't think they have. I think they just keep upping the spec on the damn thing because they've realised, oh, we can get extra life, you know. We'll be in a bit, you know, we'll be in a bit cautious with the spec before. So yeah, I don't know. Ooh, any more questions? I think I'm scrolled down the bottom of my list. Oh. Dave, would I love my job if there aren't managers or some sort of other crap people? Well, not really, because my job, the current company I work at, is really good to work for. There is hardly any Dilbert style management. There's hardly any meetings. You can pretty much do what you want. It's very flexible. Everyone's nice, and everyone's very good at what they do. There's no idiots there who don't know what they're doing, unlike all my previous companies. So it's quite strange to be in a company that flexible. It's a paperless office. There's no paperwork. It's really quite good. But you know, the fact is, you know, I'm working on their projects and not mine, and I have to turn up every day. And you know, so no, it wouldn't help me if I won $1 million. I would not turn up to work today if I had $1 million in my bank account, or even $500,000. So, you know, it's, you know, yeah, I like my job, I love it, but, you know, I'm not going to do it if I had, you know, I got better things to do in my life than turn up there 8 hours a day. And, you know, it's not that I don't like them, I do, but it's a job. They pay me to turn up and work on their stuff. So, yeah, I mean, what more can I say, really? I mean, it's the same with anyone. I'd rather be doing my own thing. I have too many hobbies in life that I'd rather be working on. So, how do you measure the amp hour of batteries? Oh God, I won't go into it, but I'm sure somebody can tell you. If I won the lotto, what would your first purchase be? What would my first purchase be? Oh God, I don't know. I really don't. Probably an arcade machine. I'm very close to getting an arcade machine. You know, one of those sit-down cocktail arcade machines. Oh, I thought about building it myself, but I don't know. Yeah, it must have been recording for an hour, because it can only store 1 hour's worth of recording, really. And then it started again. It restarts, but yeah. Yeah, I should buy the DeLorean. Yeah, I'd probably get one. I'd have to have a lot of money. How about my own copy of Altium Designer? No, I'm not going to buy my own copy. I already have my own copy of Art. Any update on the Art of Electronics book? No. I think Chris asked, have I ever had a chance to be a manager and turned it down? Not really, no, because I'm too in your face to be a manager. A lot of people, although when I was very young, back in probably 93, 92, 93 maybe, I was offered a job at Nokia here in Sydney, and I turned it down, and that was like a sort of like a role into, it was like a sort of a management type role, management type path, because I went in there for a tech, I went in there for an electronics job, and I did this psych evaluation. You know, they put you through these 1 hour psychological evaluation, and I did that, and they came back, half an hour later, they got somebody on site who checks it all out, and they came back and they offered me, and they went, oh, we don't think you're suitable for this electronics job. We want to give you this management, this role into management. And I just laughed at them, because apparently I hit all the bells and whistles on their psychological exam. Oh, it's just bullshit, really. No, I don't. I have been like a team leader and stuff. I've led little teams and stuff like that, but management, no, I don't like it. Although I like telling people, how to do things. That's pretty good. But I think I'd make a reasonable manager. Certainly a lot better than some of the managers I've worked with over the years. Let me tell you, God, some of them are just shit. They have no clue at all. God, at least I can do Gantt charts, you know. Have I had to wind my own inductors? No, very rarely. Very rarely. I always get an off-the-shelf one. Just couldn't be bothered winding my own stuff. It's just not worth it. What does my employer think of the blog? Has it ever gotten you in trouble? It did once get me in trouble. Somebody asked a question on my forum to do with one of my company's the company pricing of the products, and I got an email from the company, because I'm actually a customer of my company as well, so I get their customer emails, and I got a customer email, and it had some new pricing in there. And I thought, okay, great, it's public info, you know, and it's not like I forwarded the email on. I just gave, you know, somebody asked how much something was, and I told them. And apparently that showed up on their search, because the company searches for anything to do with their products and all. They've got these automated bots searching for, you know, searching the internet and everything. And it showed up, and somebody marched in and say, hey, what's this? Why you should have directed them to our sales department. And, oh, God, you know. Yeah, so I just deleted it, and yeah, really annoying. But no, they support people doing their own blog. My company do actually support doing my own blog, and they think it's okay. I don't know about really top management. I have no idea. I presume they know about it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think they've figured out my value in the blogging department yet. Yeah, I mean, they do their... It's funny, you know, the company will spend, you know, a ton of money and effort into doing videos and stuff like that, and hardly anyone watches them, compared to my blog anyway. You know, they might get, you know, they'll put a lot of time and money and effort into producing a really slick video, and yeah, they just don't have the people to view it. Nobody's interested, you know. And I upload a new video and I get more views in 10 minutes than they get in a month. So it's funny. Does my company have a blog? Yes. Well, they use Twitter and they use other things and stuff. ACDCs, how do you get from noise and other specs to usable resolution? Oh, I don't think we've got time to go into it. Sorry, I'm sure somebody can probably point you to a wiki article on that, I'm sure. But it has to do with the noise floor divided by the input, basically the full scale input, the noise floor, the full scale input, and you can work out how many bits that is. How many effective bits, but the noise floor changes depending on the bandwidth you're talking about. So, favorite pizza? Oh God, anything with chicken on it. If they offered me a job doing a blog for them full time, would you take it? I don't know. They haven't offered me anything in the blogging department, so I have no idea. Oh, by the way, there's an electronics show. Anyone in Sydney, there's an electronics show, Electronics, coming up on the 7th and 8th of September. So that's like a week away, not this week, but next week. And I'll be there. Covering. I think I've got a media pass, and I'm gonna do a blog from there. So yeah. So if you head to Electronics, you might find me. I'll be the idiot walking around with a tripod and a camera and a. Yep, that's me. What is the model number of your HeyMeg analog scope? How can you get it? I like the look of it. It's a very old model. It's the HM1507-3. And it's a dual analog digital. It's only it's 150 meg analog bandwidth, and it's 200 meg samples per second. So yeah, and it's really confusing to use. It's a really, oh man, try and use it, forget it. It's hopeless. And as far as the digital part, switching between them, it's non-obvious. It's the most non-obvious scope, apart from LaCroix. LaCroix makes some really difficult to use scopes, or they used to. So, Dave, will I be doing regular live shows again? Doesn't have to be each week, but maybe once a month. Yeah, I think I've got the kick. I've got the enthusiasm for the live shows again. I won't do it once a week because I think that's too much. But yeah, definitely once a month. I think I'll do it once a month. What's the temperature here? It's probably about 13 degrees Celsius. So yeah, I can tell you. Hang on. Got my temperature probe. No, I was way off the mark. 17.7 degrees Celsius. There you go. 17.5. Oh, so I probably touched it, but there you go. There's the temperature here in the lab. 17.4. It was. Oh no, sorry. Outside is about 13. I've got a temperature sensor outside, and I had a look at it before, and yeah. So yeah, it's about 17 degrees here. It's not bad. I could take the jumper off if I wanted to. It's not too bad. It's just at the end of winter here, so yeah, it's nice. Okay, what's the time? 8:40. I've got time for some more questions, I think, and I'll probably keep the question. Oh, how long is that until that DC to DC converter blog is up? I don't know. I'll probably edit it tonight, possibly. So yeah. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I don't think it turned out the way I wanted it to. I wanted to do a worked example of how to use a particular DC to DC converter chip, and I don't know. You know, it ended up with a ton of, you know, there's a ton of equations on the whiteboard, and I actually built the circuit and made sure it worked, and measured its efficiency. It wasn't that great. It was only like 60%. Efficiency, but it uses one of the Jelly Bean DC to DC converter chips. Anyway, yeah, that'll be the next one, hopefully, unless it really sucks, and then I won't do it. But I've never done that. I don't think I've ever shot a blog and then gone, that's so crap that I'm not going to use it. I really aren't that fussy. I just, is it going to be a 1 hour one? No, it won't be an hour, but I don't know how long. I probably shot an hour's worth of footage, maybe. So it might be half an hour. I don't know. In real life, do I do all the calculations manually, or do I use software like MATLAB or Mathematica? No, I do all the calculations manually with the calculator and you know, pen and paper, Dave CAD. Yep. No, I didn't use MATLAB. I'm not a MATLAB. My calcs don't get that advanced. I mean, this is real. I mean, this looks like a lot, but it's easy stuff. I mean, it's very basic. You know, they're very basic calculations. You know, there's like 1 on F here. There's, you know, like you know, there's a couple of, you know, that's about as complex as it gets, and it's real basic math. It's, you know, it ain't rocket science. So yeah, it's pretty rare that I have to work on anything that requires me to use anything more advanced than a basic scientific calculator. Really, electronics isn't that hard. It depends on what stuff you're working on. Dave math. Dave math, yeah. Or I just do it in my, or I just, you know, rule of thumb. Oh yeah, 10k is near enough. You know, I'm not going to calculate the value. I'll just, you know, I'll just do gut feel and go, oh, whack in a 10k there. You know. Any experience with leadless soldering, as in lead-free, not as in lead, but lead-free. Yeah, lead-free tin whiskers are a can be a pain in the ass. Lead, I don't like lead-free. Give me lead. Give me the old-fashioned. I don't have lead-free solder here in the lab. I don't touch it. I just use lead solder. It's much better. But all of our boards are lead-free that we get manufactured. But when we do repairs, it's all just hacking around in the lab. Lead is much better. Heaps better. Any more outdoor blog episodes on the way? I thought about it. That's from Chris again. I thought about it because I've got the, I don't have it here, actually, where is it? I've got the, it's inside. I've got the X-Tech waterproof and drop-proof meter, the EX505, which was in the $100 shootout. And I was going to do a destruction video of that. I was going to take it back to the dam, and it's coming, you know, it's out of winter time now. It's almost, you know, when it comes summer, I'll probably go do another canyon trip. And I didn't get much footage on the last canyon trip. I was very disappointed with that. There was very little footage that I actually got from that. So I probably want to do another one. There's another waterproof meter from Gossin, Metrowatt, I think. And but I think I looked into it. It wasn't waterproof. It was like, it's outdoors. It's IP6 something rated, but I think it's only 6.5 or 6.6. It's not IP6.7, which is waterproof to a meter. So yeah, I don't think that's a true side-by-side comparison. If it was, I would have got one of them, and I would have done a shootout maybe with the X-Tech versus the Gossin waterproof meter. If there's any other waterproof meters you've seen on the market, let me know, and I'll see if I can get one and do another outdoor blog. Because I'd love to go back to the dam and drop one again. And yeah, I might go drop some cheap meters off the dam, and I don't know, see what happens. Where can you buy it? DaveCAD. It's freeware. Any stationery store. Post-it note and a pencil. What language do I use when programming PICs? I use C. I use the either the high-tech C or the microchip C, which is a GCC C compiler. How do I normally drive 12 volts or so MOSFETs from a 3.3 volt micro? You have to have another, you generally, if you're not using a logic level MOSFET, which I would highly recommend using a logic level MOSFET so you can drive them directly, I would use another transistor and a pull-up resistor to drive it. So there you go. But you've got to, with the pull-up resistor, you've got to watch out for the capacitance of the gate and rise time and stuff like that. So will programming in C only and not learning assembly bite me in the ass? I don't think so. I really don't. I can't see how it would hurt your chances at a job. Learn some inline assembly, you know, just learn, you know, do your C program, do a couple of inline, you know, a few inline assembly routines and stuff like that, and yeah, you'll be fine. I don't see the problem. Take the Fluke thermal imager on my canyoning trip. No, it's not waterproof, unfortunately. I don't think it is. It's drop proof, but I don't think it's a scuba diving. No, I don't do scuba diving. Where can you buy Gossin in the US? They're not called Gossin in the US. They're called Dranets, which is a ridiculous name. You can buy them from tequipment.net and various other places. But yeah, you have to look up Dranets. I think there's a link in my blog in the Gossin review thing. But yeah, it's crazy. They don't sell them in the US under the Gossin Metrowatt brand. They're Dranets. Dranets BMI, I think it is. How do you rate electronics following the Art of Electronics lab experiment manual? I haven't seen the Art of Electronics lab manual. I've never had one, so I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. Sorry. Do I use duct tape? You bet I do. In fact, I use duct. I fixed. Check it out. I fixed the lab chair. There it is, duct tape. There's some steel rods in there, There's steel rods with metal clamps around there and duct tape. So yeah, it seems to work pretty well. It's probably not going to last a long time, but there you go. I fixed it with duct tape. Love duct tape. I'm not using the lab chair at the moment. I'm just using a stool because the lab chair just rolls around and generates noise and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just sitting on a stool I stole from the kitchen at the moment. Is C easy if I know basic? It helps, I guess, to know another high-level language like basic, but it's different. I mean, there's a fairly big difference between C and basic. But just start. I mean, I started out with basic and I moved to C. So you know, it's not that bad. So yeah, it helps to know C, but just from a high-level point of view. Dronet's BMI, there you go, someone put up the... Can I make a review on less than $10 multimeters? No freaking way. Have I ever used JB World? No, I haven't. What's that? Is that putty stuff? Is that putty stuff which turns into metal? I don't know JB World, it's probably a US brand. What's the best method for 1.8 to 3.3 volt level conversion? As in step up from 1.8 to 3.3? You would use a boost converter. There's plenty of them on the market. There's endless choice. Endless. Oh, JB World epoxy. I originally fixed the chair with epoxy and it lasted about a month and it broke again. So yeah, that was a really strong, expensive epoxy. And do you know analog multimeters are still produced? Yes, they are still produced. You still can buy an analog multimeter. There's a couple of companies that make them. And yeah, you can still buy them. I don't know why you would. No, there's no advantages, really. Apart from nostalgia, I guess. Pickaxe are horrible. I don't know, I think pickaxe is alright. There's nothing wrong with pickaxe, but yeah, it's not really professional, but hey, it works. Simpson Electric, yep, they still make analog meters. So do Triplet. This is a Triplet NE630A. This is awesome. This is a this has got a range doubler one. Goes up to 6,000 volts. It's got 6,000 volt inputs. Oh, here, 6,000 volt inputs. Check them out. 6,000 volts DC, AC. I'll put it up to the main meter there, main camera, main meter. But yeah, that's the it's got, yeah, that's a really nice Triplet, the Triplet 630 NA. You can still buy the Triplet 630. You can still buy this, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I probably should open it and show you inside or something. Anyone want to see inside it? Probably don't have time. It's almost 9 to drop it. No, I love it. I love my Triplet, but yeah, I don't use it. You know, it's got a range. But it's yeah, it's a really nice analog meter. It's awesome. You can still buy it. Take it apart. Some people want to see me take it apart. All right, hang on. It's happening. It's coming apart. Alright. Ta-da! Oh no, I lost all the screws. Screws lost. But yeah, check it out. Isn't that filthy porn? That is just pornographic, really. That is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ta-da! There you go. Look at those precision resistors. They're all 0.5%, I think. Yeah, they're all 0.5% resistors. Very nice, big power resistors. And it's got 2 batteries. It's got a D cell, and it's got one of these weird... Not sure what that is. It's a very old Eveready. Very old Eveready battery. But number 413. It's a 30 volt battery. I have no idea if it's still working, but yeah, it's a 30 volt. Actually, I probably should. I'll leave that out and I'll measure it. But yeah, that's a really nice meter. Let me put it up here to the main camera. Anyway, that's inside the triplet 630 NA. Beautiful. I've got the schematic diagram for it as well. There's the huge 6,000 volt. That's a 6,000 volt resistor. Check it out. That goes from the 6,000 volt terminal over here. There's the 6,000 volt input. It's huge. It's a mammoth thing. Very nice. That's a 24 meg. I think 24 meg 1%. Big wire wound thing. It's just it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Brings a tear to the eye. I can look at that all day. Oh, and there's another one. There's another high voltage one up there as well. Check it out. Ta-da! Very cool. Into a bike speedometer. That would be so cool. Doesn't it touch the other battery terminals? No, it doesn't. What type of fuses are in there? Just basic. It's a 3AG glass. It's just a basic 3AG glass fuse. Very basic. That's just for the battery. That's just to protect the battery shorting out. And yeah, it doesn't actually have any input fuses as such. So yeah, that's just a beautiful meter. It really is. I love it. The input jacks aren't that great. The input jacks are starting to wear out a bit, but yeah, it's a very, very nice, very nice bit of kit. There you go. Oh, there's some circuitry inside there. That's a shielding can. That's a shielded can. There's some solder on there, and I believe there's some. You can see some wires going in there. I'm not sure what. It's probably got the rectifier diodes or something in there, but yeah, shielded. Very nice. Triplet 630 NA. There you go. No, Microsoft Instaload battery technology doesn't work. Oh dear. Can you take real pics of the meter? Sure. Yeah, I'll take some pics. I'll put them up on the... actually, add them to the forum. I'll actually put them up to the forum, or I might even add it when I upload this video. Why 2 batteries? There's one is used for the... they're used for the different ohms ranges. So, so there you go. All right, well, it is now 9 o'clock, almost. Do I have a lot of problem with BGA packages? Yeah, they're a pain in the ass. I hate BGA. I despise BGA. I think they're evil, and yeah, don't like them at all. If I can't solder it by hand, and I can't probe the pins by hand, I don't like it. Alright guys, that's probably it. Thanks for turning up. I've done this has been going for an hour and a half. This is going to be an epic live vlog, I think. And it seems like I haven't done much. What have I done? Where's an hour and a half gone? It's crazy. Oh man, I don't know. It's nuts. So yeah, thanks for turning up everyone. Beauty. And I'll probably do live vlogs every now and then. I won't go into full whiteboard tutorials and stuff like that, because I think they're better suited to the main vlogs. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you want to, at the next vlog, if you want to see me take apart, something else I've got here or something like that, by all means, throw it in. So yeah, thanks everyone, and I'm headed off to work. So I'll catch you later. Bye. See ya. Oh, you're not going to believe it. I forgot to start the recording on the Ustream. Ah, well, doesn't matter. That's alright. That's only the Ustream one. Go figure. See ya.